Going Nitrosites, it's me, the Nitro General here, and today I'm bringing you another Pokemon video, and I'm really excited for this one. If you like Pokemon, then you probably know that you always remember your first everything that happens in a Pokemon game, whether that's the first game you played or whatever it is. Um, and that's why I'm bringing you guys today my top 5 Pokemon firsts. Now this isn't really like a top 5. It's more of just like 5 things. So I just want to put that out there. So I'm not saying any of these are better than the other ones. So coming in at number 5 spot is the first Pokemon game I ever played. Now, the first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Platinum on the DS. Now, I have played all the ones on the Game Boy, and I had a Game Boy, but at that point when the Game Boy came out, I was a little bit too young to quite understand too much about Pokemon and stuff like that. So that's why, I didn't really play very much. But I do remember that my first game was Platinum, and my first starter was Chimchar. And that was probably one of my favorite games, and why it's my favorite region. So yeah. So that's why my first Pokemon game I ever played was Pokemon Platinum. Now, coming in at the number 4 spot is my first shiny Pokemon. My first shiny Pokemon, I'm going to give you 2 things. The first shiny Pokemon I ever got was I don't really remember in what game it was. I'm pretty sure it might have been Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. I got Soul Silver, and my cousin played that game, and he gave me a couple level 100 shinies to help me beat the Elite Four, because I couldn't at that point. So the first 2 shiny Pokemon he gave me were a shiny Jolteon and a shiny Rapidash. That's why they're always kind of, close to my heart, those 2 shiny Pokemon, because, sorry guys, because they were the first shinies that I ever really got. No, the first shiny I ever found in the wild was, and yes, I was pretty late to the party, was Pokemon X and in Pokemon X and Y. I was training up at Victory Road, and I found a shiny Lickitung, and I named it Shiny Cyrus, because at that point, Miley Cyrus was pretty big in that whole Wrecking Ball music video, but that was my first shiny. Legit found shiny. I had never found a shiny in the wild. Any shiny Pokemon I ever got were from trades. I hadn't used my actual replay yet. I hadn't done anything really. I had an action replay that I had used in previous games to get shiny Pokemon. But I hadn't used power saves or anything like that. So this was my first legit shiny Pokemon. It was the shiny Lickitung in Pokemon X and Y. And I ended up trading it away. I don't remember what I traded it for. I'm pretty sure it was something I actually really wanted, though, because it was my first shiny Pokemon. So, yeah. Now, coming in at the number 3 spot is my first ever level 100 Pokemon that I trained up myself. Now, there were a lot of Pokemon that I trained up myself to level 100. But the first one I ever did myself without, hacking in rare candies and stuff was in Pokemon Heart Gold and Soul Silver. When I first played Pokemon Soul Silver, I picked Cyndaquil. It was my favorite starter at that point. I always picked the fire starters when I was younger. Those were always the ones that I did. So the first Pokemon I got legit to level 100 was my Typhlosion. Now, I think I used some rare candies and stuff too, so, that I had found, legit in the game. I didn't cheat any in. But that's why, again, Typhlosion will always hold a spot in my heart too, because it was the first time that I had actually trained up a Pokemon to level 100 myself. It was very, very, nostalgic for me to be able to actually got a Pokemon to level 100, because when you're younger than, and you played Pokemon, getting Pokemon to like level 100 was always one of the coolest things you could do in the game. And a lot of people had always got their Pokemon level 100, but I never put in enough time in Pokemon to actually get a level 100. But I did in this game, and I thoroughly was so excited when my Typhlosion got to level 100. In Pokemon X and Y, on the other hand, this was the first time that I actually got a full team almost to level 100. In Pokemon X and Y, my six Pokemon on my team in Pokemon was Pokemon Y. The first time I played it was Greninja, Charizard, Raichu, Mewtwo, Zygarde, and what was the other one? It was a oh no. It was Lucario. Okay, so I had to pause it there for a second because I had to remember it was Lucario. So yeah. So basically, this was before I stopped using legendaries on my actual team, and it was before I accidentally restarted the game. Now, I didn't mean to. I was transferring shiny Pokemon that I was. No, it was. This was again before I started hacking in shinies into the game. It was when I was trying to complete the Pokedex, and I was just transferring Pokemon that evolved at a higher level over into Pokemon X, so I could play through the game with them and level them up and evolve them. And I accidentally restarted Pokemon Y. Now, when I did that, I think Charizard was level 100, Mewtwo was level 100, Raichu was level 100, Greninja was level 100, I think, and Lucario was level 100, and Zygarde was level 98 or 99. So I was so close to getting a first level 100 team, and to this day, I have not successfully got a whole team of level 100 Pokemon that I trained up myself. Any Pokemon that I always after I legitimately complete the Pokedex in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, which I did legit. I didn't hack into any Pokemon no matter what. It was just kind of like, well, there's nothing left for me to do here. So I used power saves to turn all the Pokemon shiny and everything like that. And level 100. So yeah. So that's why. That's the whole reason why I did that, was because there wasn't really anything else left for me to do in the game. So, that's just putting that out there. I did complete the Pokedex legit. I bred Charmanders, and I just traded them, and people would trade anything for Charmanders. Chimchars. They would trade anything for Chimchars in that game. So yeah. So I legitimately did that, but I didn't. I've never really legitimately trained a Pokemon up to level, like a whole team up to level 100, because I always just put in rare candies and level them up. And I'm not ashamed to say that, but I am kind of ashamed that I never really got a team to level 100. I never have really taken the time to do that since Pokemon X and Y. But in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee, it's extremely easy to get level 100 Pokemon. My original team would have been level 100, but I swapped them out for shinies of like the exact Pokemon, but shinies. And I think right now my shiny Pokemon team, the highest one is my Ninetales, which is level 90. And then all the rest of them are like level 80s. So they're close to being level 100, but it's not quite as the same as leveling them up like that. So yeah. So coming into the number 3 spot is my first favorite Pokemon. Now, Pokemon has been around for 20 years now, over 20 years. So now there are almost 1,000 Pokemon. But when I first started playing, there was only like 300 Pokemon. So 300 or 400. So there wasn't quite as many. There's still a lot. But yeah, so My favorite Pokemon when I was younger was always Machamp. I'd always, whenever I played through a game and you went to a cave and I found a Machop, it was always my plan to, um, it was always my plan to, put Pokemon in, or trade my Machoke to get a Machamp. And so for my team, because I always loved Machamp, I always thought he was super cool, and I still like Machamp. He's no longer even in my top 5 favorite Pokemon, which is probably gonna be my next video. So yeah, but so I he was never really. He was always really a really good Pokemon that I loved, but he's no longer my favorite Pokemon. But when I was younger, he always held a spot in my heart because he was always the one Pokemon that I'd get in every Pokemon game. If I went back through and looked at every one of my teams for my games, probably 8 out of 10 of them have Machamps in my end team. The only reason I didn't in Pokemon X and Y was because I didn't have anybody to trade evolution my Machoke, which is the reason why I wouldn't ever have a Machamp was because nobody else had the game. But yeah. Alright guys, so coming in at the number 5 spot and the last one for this video today is your first Pokemon spin-off game. You always remember, if you love Pokemon, then you probably have not just played the main series games. No, they had tons and tons of different spin-offs. You know, you had Pokemon Quest, which was recently, and then you had, like, Pokemon Stadium and everything, and, you had Pokemon Ranger and Pokemon, the one where Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. You had all these Pokemon games. You even had that one on the Wii. You had Pokemon Snap. You had the one on the Wii there where you played as Pikachu and you had to like go around and make friends with different Pokemon and stuff like that. I can't remember what that one was called, but I used to love that one. But my first Pokemon spin-off game that I ever played was on the Wii, and it was called Pokemon Battle Revolution. When I was younger, that was probably one of the first games that I ever played on the Wii. I used to go out and my mom would rent it for me when I was young. Almost every other weekend, I'd go to the store when they still had Blockbuster. I don't know if a lot of you guys even know what that is, but it used to be a store where you could rent movies and games. I used to go there almost every weekend after school. And my mom would let me rent one game, and almost every single time I'd rent Pokemon Battle Revolutions. I thought it was so cool to have Pokemon on the big TV screen, and one of the best things ever was that it saved the data on the Wii, so I could just keep coming back with the game and resuming where I left off. And basically the whole premise of that game was there was just different stadiums where you would compete in battles, and you would get battle passes. But you could transfer your Pokemon, well, not transfer, copy your Pokemon from Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold over until that game. So I would go around in Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold, catch all these Pokemon, and then transfer them over because I always loved to see those 3D models. Like, do you guys remember when Pokemon X and Y came out, and it was the first, like, 3D, like those games where the Pokemon would do more than just make a couple of different movements, and it was like 3D, and it was like blew your mind. Well, that's like how it was for me with Pokemon Battle Revolution. I used to transfer Pokemon all the time over into that game, and it would just absolutely blow my freaking mind to see all these 3D models of the Pokemon and the 3D animations for the moves. It was just some of the coolest things that I'd ever seen for Pokemon, and that's why I loved that game, and I used to spend hours just playing that game and battling, transferring Pokemon, and I used to it was Pokemon Soul Silver and Heart Gold where I got those original shiny Pokemon from my cousin, because I remember transferring them over onto Pokemon Battle Revolution, and I had the shiny Rapidash and the shiny Jolteon. And I don't remember what the other ones were, but there were a couple more. And I just loved that game, and it was so much fun for me. So that's my first Pokemon spin-off game I ever played. But that is going to be it for this video. I may have another one coming out later today, and if you guys are hyped, make sure to leave a like down below. Make sure to slap that subscribe button if you're new, if you like the commentary. If you have any other ideas for Pokemon videos, top 5s, rare rooms, any video games you want me to review, make sure you put them down in the comments below too, because I would be happy to read those and go back and do some of those videos. And if you haven't watched my video from last weekend where I did my first collab with Spec Ops about the new Borderlands games, make sure you go check that out too, because I really highly enjoyed that, and go check out his channel. But other than that, guys, that is it for me. If you're new, make sure you subscribe. Make sure to hit that bell so you don't miss a video that I post if you want. But other than that, guys, my name is Nitro General, and I will see you whenever I see you next. Peace.